Hey everyone, this is Elias from Red Match Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Lexus IS 500. Now, it was fitting that I wear my Wolverine shirt because this thing is like Wolverine. He's calm, cool, and collective when you want him to be, but if you push the right buttons, get ready for those claws because this thing has a mean set of claws. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, before we get started, I want to shout out my buddy Nick that has an IS 250. He probably has a 350, but we'll say he has a 250. And I told him, sell that thing, sell your wife's car, buy this. This is all you really need. So this one's for you, man, because I think you really need to get this. But we get started in the front, and the first thing is the mean look to this thing. It is super aggressive. It has a super aggressive front bumper. The Incognito color is far from incognito because everyone can see that this thing looks so mean and aggressive. So yeah, it definitely stands out from the standard IS, but not too much to kind of give it away. So it's like a sheep or wolf in sheep's skin, but you kind of see a little bit of the teeth, you kind of see a little bit of the claws. Yeah, that's kind of what we get with this. But Incognito color is great. The headlights are amazing. I love these things. The triple beam LED system with that nice kind of eyebrow at the top that looks really great. We have the big grille in the front, nice and gloss black colored as well. We have the front facing camera, which was crucial to make sure that I don't hit this lower lip. That looks so good. And then we have some areas here, which very small, if anything, opening there, but these definitely are closed, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, we have this front end, looks great, looks aggressive. Yeah, Nick, you need to get one of these. And that's because what's under this hood. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We get under the hood and we have the 5.0 liter V8 cranking out 472 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque. It is connected to the 8-speed auto and then to the rear wheels. Now, a couple of things with this. Yes, we have a massive V8 under here. And let me tell you, it has been a blast. The power is instant. The fact that we have the naturally aspirated power to it. The only thing that is kind of weird is the transmission at low speed. So just everyday driving, kind of pulling out of a parking spot or just kind of pulling into a spot. The first to second gear kind of situation feels sluggish. It feels I think sluggish is really the best word I can describe it, but it's clunky. It feels clunky. So that's kind of the only thing that was weird with that transmission. Now, if you're driving it like a bat out of hell from first to second, it's perfect. So it hates slow speeds. Getting the power to the rear, it's not a problem. Controlling the power to the rear is a different story. I wish this had like a launch control because I think that would help to really get that power down from first to second. And I did check online, couldn't find anything. So let me know if I'm wrong though. But I did try traction control on, traction control off, brake boosting it a little bit. Nothing. Like the only thing that really worked was having the brake hold on and then just flooring it to get it going and traction control kicking in a little bit. But that's kind of the fun part of it. I hate to kind of admit it. It's kind of the double-edged sword. It's fun because you're getting the power, but you're not really getting the power down. But other than that though, this is insane that we would get this big V8 in this car. And I'm so glad Lexus did it because this is what Japanese muscle car hot rodding is all about. Yeah, Nick, you need one of these in your car. Let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice BBS 19-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 235/40 in the front and 265/35 in the rear. Now, a couple of things with this. Yes, we have the optional BBS wheel. They look great. They're in a flat black color. So just kind of be aware that it's kind of looks like it's always dirty because the Incognito just looks so much brighter and more life to it. Honestly, I think I would have liked gloss black over the kind of matte black finish, but they look great. The tires are going to be suffering in the back. So the 265, I think, are still a little bit on the narrower side, or we just need better tires than the Bridgestone Potenzas that we get with this. So yeah, I don't know, or something has to be done with trying to get that power down from the initial launch. Maybe a better traction control or a launch control kind of thing. But other than that, though, as far as everyday drivability, the tires had plenty of grip for that stuff. They do like heat, so you do have to kind of warm them up a little bit. They are super quiet. They're super quiet. They absorb a lot of the road, which is surprising when you have such a small sidewall. So yeah, that's the biggest surprise with this setup, because I thought, great, we're gonna have a sports car feel, but no, it was a pretty luxurious ride with it. And then the brakes were great as well. Definitely get this guy stopped with no issues, no brake fade, really hammer them down. They can take some abuse, which I really like to see, like to feel as well, because it was a good brake pedal. The suspension, awesome, love it. Again, you're in normal modes and it's nice and quiet, calm ride, and then you put it in Sport S Plus, and this thing tightens up in a great way to really give you the feedback and really handle the track. So loving this setup. So Nick, you need to get this. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side. We get to the side and this thing looks really good. I love the proportions that we get with this. And if we kind of get started on the front, we have a nice big hood for that big V8 to fit under there. The 19-inch wheels look perfect. I mean, I wouldn't go bigger, I wouldn't go smaller. I love the 19-inch size that we get for this. And yeah, we kind of have a little bit, what looks like a little bit of a rake. You may not be able to tell in the camera because I like to straighten things out, but yeah, we have a slight rake. Maybe because the gap on the rear is a little bit higher than the lower, so it gives you that illusion, but looks awesome. We have the side skirt here, which looks really cool. Love the way it kind of cuts out, and we have a great line coming up right in there for the rear fender. We have the black mirror with the black framing around, which I'm always a big fan of. One thing I really like is just kind of this rear fender that comes out and just gives it a really nice looking rear, basically like a hip, so to speak. So love that line. Now I have my key fob in the pocket, so I'll go ahead and grab here, and it goes ahead and unlocks. I can get in, really comfortable, really big opening for a smaller sedan, really. So we have that, and I can go ahead and lock it there, and I go to the rear, and there's no sensor, so you do have to activate, and then I don't think I have it activated. I may have changed that, or my wife might have changed it when she was doing her review. But yeah, we open up the door, get in, no issues with, you know, space. Surprisingly, again, for such a smaller sedan, I was definitely impressed with the size that we have back there. But yeah, that's kind of what we have on the side. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's in the back. We get to the back, and when this passes you on the track, there's going to be a couple of hints that you're going to realize why this thing passed you on the track. So we'll get to the main one, but we take a look at the rear. We do have a sunshade in the rear. Nice to have it though on super hot Texas days. We get to the trunk, and we have this nice spoiler. I love that it's in black. It adds more to the line than if it were just in the Incognito color. It looks really cool. I like the fact that we kind of have a dip in the middle, and it's not just a straight wing across. Loving that. These taillights are awesome. I love the shape that we have with this, and with that rear panel back here that just kind of lends it to the lines of the taillights. So loving this, and kind of get it like a Nike check going on here, and just kind of goes across to the other side. Now, the big thing, when you see these things, you realize, oh, cool, that thing passed me because it's got a V8 underneath. And that is the quad exhaust tips, which are, yes, true exhaust tips. So we don't have fake covers or anything like that. That exhaust tip you're seeing there is connected to the muffler underneath. So thank you, Lexus, for making this hot rod. Yeah, this Japanese V8 hot rod. This thing is so much fun. And then we have the bottom area here, which looks really good, and especially in that black color to, again, set off or change the sea of gray or incognito that we have. But yeah, this rear is really nice. Let's go ahead and see what we have inside. We open up the trunk and we actually have a good amount of size. I do like the size that we have back here with the IS 500. So yeah, you can definitely put a good amount of items here. So we have this kind of mat back here. And then when we lift here, yeah, that was a surprising thing. We actually have a donut. We don't, and I'll be honest with you, that looks really cool. I would probably get 4 of these and put them on my Miata if they really fit. So I was surprised at the color too. The color was really cool. So this was a big surprise to me, but you get that. And honestly though, you have a good amount of space back here. And this opening isn't too bad, which is what I always say is difficult when we have a sedan to get like a big box in here. But no issues there. And yeah, I kind of want those wheels. We opened the door and yes, that's already a sign of what you'll see when we get to the seats. But yeah, we have the combination of black and red, which is what you want. And as you can see with the Incognito color, yeah, it just looks perfect. I mean, look at that. Look at that combination right there. It's exactly what you need. And yeah, very comfortable. You know, we have a harder plastic up here, but still has kind of some give to it. We have the softer leather here with the red, and we have the switches, which are nice. And this was the surprising thing. So we actually have 3 memory seats, which I don't know if I'd want to share this with 2 other people. I know my wife would want to, but that third person, sure. But thanks, Lexus, for having that as an addition. And then we come down to the speaker, which is the Mark Levinson system, which sounds so good. And that looks good too. It's not gonna lie, the red speaker grill surprised me. It kind of gives me a like 1980s, 1990s Porsche red interior where like everything is red. So I kind of like it. What do you guys think? Let me know. We get to the seats and these things are incredible. I love the color. I love the shape. They're super comfortable. Adjustability is definitely there. You can find your sweet spot easily with this. It just looks so nice. I mean, yeah, just look at that. Enjoy that. We take a look at this steering wheel and this thing is a little outdated. Yeah, I gotta say, it definitely feels a little bit on the outdated kind of design to it. More of this side of things and maybe some of the buttons. And that's because I've driven some of the newer Lexus vehicles and I kind of like their new steering wheels a lot more. But this isn't bad. This is really good. I love the perforated or dimpled leather on the side. I love the super soft leather on the top and on the bottom. We get a nice F Sport badge on there, which looks really good. And we have the really nice red stitching. So it's still good. I still like this wheel setup. It feels great. We have the paddle shifters, which are good size. They're not super big, but they're positioned where they need to really be. So yeah, you can see them right there. So really, it's not that difficult to, when you're turning, to be able to shift up and down. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with that. And on the left hand side, we have your volume control, your next track, and we have some talking buttons there. And then on the right hand side, we have the buttons for the gauge cluster, which we'll take a look, and some of your cruise control options down here. But that is pretty much it. Now on the left hand side of the wheel, we actually have these buttons. So we have the auto light, which is normal. We have camera views, which is nice. And we have the rear sunshade, which has been really helpful on these days that we've had some hot days. Just leave it open, or just, I guess, close or on. We'll say on, to make sure that the vehicle doesn't get as hot. Then we have this ASC button, and it's actually like a scroll wheel. And that apparently is to pump in the sound of the intake into the vehicle. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't notice a difference. So if you have an IS 500 and use that, let me know if you can tell a difference, because I really couldn't. But regardless, it sounds really good in here. Now let's take a look at the gauge cluster, and I want to show you the little animation we get. That's pretty cool. Loving that. And loving that even more. It kind of gave away my secret that I was going to show you guys. But what we see there is the, on the left-hand side, we see essentially so this is a screen, digital screen. On the left-hand side, we have information that we can basically kind of go through. This is more of the telemetry, or more of the vehicle items. So we have things like the tire pressure. We can have it set to nothing, drive, eco indicator, which it's kind of hard to stay in that eco with that V8, because it's just a lot of fun. It really is. And then we have like oil, temp, and then G-forces. As you can see, we were having a little bit of fun with it, and gear position. But that's kind of what you get with that. And then when you press the button on the steering wheel, it moves it over and it gives you a more simplified look. I don't know if this would be more, you see, what's weird is I feel like this would be more track oriented to have it this way, because you have the tach nice and centered, and you're not seeing off to the side a little bit to get that reading of the tachometer. But this is going to give us more info, or we can have it tell us more info. So yeah, what do you guys think? Would you rather have it like this off to the side in a racing environment, so to speak, or would you prefer to have it nice and dead center? Let me know. We get over to the infotainment screen, and it's nice. I like the size of the screen itself. It kind of stays out of the way of your field of view, and it's Apple CarPlay, but it's wired Apple CarPlay. And that's because we're still kind of in an old system, for Lexus at least, because Lexus has updated pretty much all their vehicles that I'm aware of with their newer display. So this needs to catch up, and I'm saying that in the best possible way, because that system is pretty good. If it sucked, then I'd say keep it like this. Kind of like what I say for Mercedes, where I like the older user interface more than I liked the one in the new vehicles. So yeah, kind of loving the system in the new Lexus compared to this one, which is the older one. But like I said, we have Apple CarPlay plugged in, and it's pretty good to go. Now we come down a little bit, have a nice little clock, which is nice little classic, or pinkies up moment kind of thing. We come down a little bit, and we have the AC, or the climate control. I do love this. It's a little outdated looking, but there's something cool that I really liked about some of the older Lexus, that you literally have this like bar there, that if you just kind of put your finger on it and move up and down, you could essentially change the temperature that you have. Or you can just go ahead and tap it and it will adjust accordingly. So yeah, I know, stupid little thing, but it's a fun interaction to have with it. But that's kind of what you get with the climate system. It's very simple, very straight to the point, which I love. And then we get the CD chain, or CD player in this, which, yeah, I'd have to probably go looking for a CD in boxes to be able to use this. But yeah, in case you have a collection, or you have those, yeah, I'm about to date myself, books of CDs, or those CD wallets, I guess they were called. Yeah, you can still use them in this. But that Mark Levinson system, really good, sounds really loud, really clear. which I haven't been a fan of some other Mark Levinson systems. So like to see that it's working really well in this vehicle. We come back and we have the heated and the vented option. The vented option is really nice in this. It kept me cool, even though we were having some really weird weather this week where we had like 90 degrees, but also about 40 degrees. So using these two were really, really good. And then we have the heated steering wheel as well, which is a nice touch to that. We get over to the shifter, and yeah, this shifter reminds me of really old Toyotas, because that's pretty much where it's coming from. But yeah, this kind of needs to be updated, hopefully in the next gen of the IS. But yeah, other than that though, as far as like it looking kind of dated, and it's more of this side of things, it works well. I like it. You know, we can go up a gear, down a gear with no issues. I like it. Looks good on this side, not on this side, and you're really good to go for that. Then we come over to the fun side. So here we have the eco mode on the left. If we spin it to the left and then press it down, we have normal. Press it down again, we have custom. And then if we switch it to the right, we have the sport, and then the sport plus, which when I go ahead and show you in the gauge cluster, it changes a little bit as far as the looks. So we'll switch it to eco and we have that look. Switch it to normal, and it basically is going to change a little bit. Custom is just that, then sport, and then sport plus. So yeah, that's kind of what you get with that. Do we get anything with snow? Yeah, not sure if I want to be in sport plus with snow as a combination. It'd probably be fighting itself, but thankfully we have no snow. And then we have the traction control button here, where we can turn that off, and the brake hold, which I really, really liked in this, except I had to put it on for every single time that I turned on the vehicle. Then we have the little pad, which is for controlling the infotainment screen. So what's good about this that I like is that you could just essentially do like a flick. I'll show you a flick from one side to the other, and it will essentially take you to that location. You push down and it takes to the next track for that. But yeah, no complaints. I liked it. You can also obviously touch the screen as well, but I did like these buttons up here to get us to that area there. Then we get to the cup holders. No complaints. We have a good size gap between them, so that definitely helps out with making sure that, you know, if you have big cups, they're not going to bump each other. So we're good on that. The armrest is nice and comfortable. No complaints with it there. Open this up, and we have our hookups for the Apple CarPlay. So I have my USB-A right in there, and I have my phone in there, and we have a 12-volt adapter there for any accessories. But yeah, it's a good size armrest with good storage, and that's kind of what you get in the front. We get to the back door, and again, we get simple styling, but really extravagant and really vibrant and really loud. But the design is very simple. So we have that harder plastic on the top. We have the softer leather here. We do have the brushed aluminum finish to it here, and kind of that dark chrome kind of look to it. And then we have the speaker, which, like I said, was great. Kind of cool that I do like the fact that it kind of goes in for the speaker, which helps out with things like your knees, so you can essentially rest them a little bit closer to the door. But yeah, looks great. And then when we come inside, yeah, we still the back still enjoys the beautiful red leather that we get in the IS 500. And my kiddo said, look, there are hidden cup holders, and they really are hidden, because you have to press that little button in order for them to kind of essentially pop out and use them there. So when you're done, you do that, you're good. His booster seat was super easy to put. The only thing though that I don't like is that it's a flap going up. So essentially this has to stay up, and that is making contact with his back essentially. So, and it's a Velcro, so it might catch his clothes. He hasn't complained to me, but just, I know, I know it's a possibility. So just be aware of that. But it's nice because you can just kind of put it back and you're set. And then We do have a big channel in the middle, so just kind of be aware that it's going to be difficult to have a third person in the middle. And then we have the AC vents in the back, but that's pretty much what you get when you're in the back. We get inside of the IS 500 and I'm ready to go. Let's just go, because this is a blast to drive. But the great thing about it is when we decide to just kind of drive it calmly, it's really good. It's really good at just relaxing. And if you want to, you know, take this on a long road trip, it's super comfortable. And yes, we have a big roaring V8, but when you don't want it to be roaring, it doesn't roar, which is good. That's kind of what you want. You want it to behave when you're behaving and not when you're not. So thankfully that is the case, and the ride quality is good too. So yeah, even though we have those bigger wheels, small side profiles, we have the sport suspension, we're driving really calmly. And yeah, it is very nice to take some of these roads that may not be the best paved, and it'll absorb those bumps in a really good way. So I am loving that. Seating position is nice and comfortable. I did put myself up a little bit because I've been more in a cruising manner of just kind of sitting back and almost laying back, I say, which is not my typical kind of position, but it was just that good at just letting me take on the road, so to speak. But yeah, steering wheel feedback is good. You know, it's there when it needs to be. It's not, you know, it absorbs everything that it needs to absorb, and it's good. Yeah, the only thing is we are a little bit, if you're wanting tech stuff, it's a little bit on the outdated side. We also have kind of a waste of space with a CD player nowadays. Yes, I know. But yeah, this is kind of like having cassette when everyone else was having CDs. So we are at that point where we probably could have used this little cubby area for storage, which I would have liked because we kind of lacked a little bit in here. But yeah, this is actually really nice. So let's go ahead and switch this guy over to Sport Plus, because when you go into Sport Plus, usually, or Sport S Plus, we get a little bit of suspension tuning, which is kind of Lexus and Toyota's little description for that with this adaptive suspension. So let's go have some fun. So now that I've gone ahead and switched to Sport S Plus mode, we see the gears kind of shift down a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and switch it over to manual mode, and we will use, let's see if we use the paddle shifters or if we use the shifter itself. But oh yeah, this thing can go. So let's go ahead and, oh, it sounds so good too. First turn, ease into the gas a little bit because I don't know how tail happy this is gonna be. And the answer is it's very tail happy. So yeah, it's a little bit on the cold side as well. These tires don't really like the cold, but even in warmer weather, it was activating traction control like crazy. So that was the yeah, it's almost as like that light is just permanently on because it's wanting to just this thing is insane. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's definitely, like I said, Wolverine. Yeah, traction control there. Oh god, this thing is a blast to drive, and those downshifts sound so incredible. It's crazy how like this vehicle can do both. I put it in drive of, like, you know, we were just calm and cruising, and we hit that Sport S Plus mode, manual mode, and just pedal down, and it just goes. That's insane. Yeah, this is Japanese hot rodding, and man, do I love it. It's so good. Let's go ahead and be a little bit more practical. See if we can, how we do with the 3-point stop. So we'll go ahead and turn here. Yeah, this shifter is very antiquated. It's going crazy of like, wait, you should brake because you're gonna hit tall grass that is very gentle. But good. I'm glad we have those safety measures. Yeah. This wheel gets kind of heavy when you're slowed down, so just kind of be aware of that. Maybe because I'm in Sport S. So we've gone ahead and set up our race box. If you guys are interested in this little telemetry box, it's really cool. You can measure drag, you can measure lap. It works as a lap timer as well. I'll add my little discount code in the description. But yeah, so let's just say I've practiced a couple of times as far as launching this thing, and it smells like tires in here because this thing is so hard to put the power down. The fact that it's cold as well doesn't help. The tires could be a little bit bigger on the rear, so that's kind of what makes it fun though. Yes, it's not the fastest to get off the line, but it is fun. So I'll go ahead and put it in manual mode. We're in Sport Plus. I can't brake boost it because it will immediately start to do a burnout. Yeah. And I can't take traction control off because it will immediately start to do a burnout. That's how much power this thing has. So we're gonna go ahead and just give it the old, yeah. So let's go and hit it. Okay, so couple of things. We'll put it back in drive. Actually, we'll keep it in manual, and 0 to 60 in 2.05 seconds. That's surprising because I didn't think I was going to be able to get there that quickly with being able to burn out so much. And then the 4.73 0 to 60. Now, I believe they say it's 4.4, but it has to be like ideal temperatures, you know, tire pressure ideal, road conditions ideal. It's just, yeah, the perfect setup kind of thing for this, because it is it is hard to put this power down from a stop without traction control, like I mentioned. But once you get it going, it is a blast, and you can get it stopped really easily too. Even though this is kind of a big boy, it is just so much fun. This is what hot rodding is. Japanese hot rodding at its best. It really is. Oh, that is so much fun. Now, let's talk about the IS 500. Who is this for? Anyone. Anyone, because that's the great thing about this. It's a little bit of everything. So yes, it's not the quickest, yes, it's not the biggest, it's not the lightest, it's not the okay, it is a good looker, but it's also not the slowest, it's not the most, it's not the smallest, it's not the most uncomfortable. So it's a good middle of everything. It's that balanced player that you get like when you're playing a video game and you're setting up. It's all about balance. Granted, the power may be a little bit more towards the crazy side, and that's what makes this so good, because you could just be relaxing and driving this thing and people would have no idea that you have almost 500 horsepower under the hood. And that's what makes it fun, because you get to surprise them, you get to scare them. And then, yeah, when you hit it, that's when they get surprised. Well, everyone, thanks for watching, and remember, find the right gear. See ya.